The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendlenewtech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information. This is a test of the Boundary Park Alert System.
Hi, it's Sexy Dave for the Oldham Athletic Podcast. We are Oldham Boundary Park Alert System. I'm here with Chris Stott. How are you doing, mate?
Great, thanks, Dave. Yourself?
Yeah. How are you? What are you thinking for today?
Well, both teams have hit a bit of form now and found their feet in League Two. Barnet are playing well, so are we. So I think there will be goals, but I'm going to think Latics will shade it 2-1.
Who's going to score, bud?
Fondop's got to score, hasn't he? And Mellon.
Oh, there we go. What do you think of the last few performances? 3 wins on the bounce after.
Look, I think we've had the same team, haven't we? Consistency, better competition for places with players coming back from injury, so it all makes for a solid squad. But we're looking organised. It's a long way to go yet. We can't get too carried away. But yeah, things are looking really positive.
Cheers, Chris. Thanks very much.
No worries.
Hi, it's Sexy Dave for the Boundary Park Alert System. I'm here with, what's your name?
Dan Sinkinson.
Oh, full name, because you are now world famous, because you are on the Boundary Park Alert System fan zone. That chicken and chips looks absolutely lovely, by the way.
It's a mountain of it, yeah, it's proper.
Right, talking of mountains, and mountains we've had to climb to get to the Football League. How are you feeling with our performances of late?
I'm feeling we've got 5 green ticks coming along. We were really lucky. Or is that too ambitious?
I don't know. No. It's something we've all been waiting for. So is it going to be a win today?
It should be, yeah. Whether it's a clean sheet again, we'll have to see. But performances so far have been good, so we keep it up.
Who's been your standout players so far for this season?
Oh, Hannon all over the place in the right ways.
And up front, Michael Mellon, has he made an impression on you?
He's getting there. His match fitness needs to come in still, but maybe one today from him. We'll have to wait and see. Cheers,
Jan. Enjoy your chips and chicken. Cheers. What's your name, buddy?
Wayne Lee.
What do you think of the recent results then, mate?
Brilliant.
Can't complain, can we? We're good at complaining, those Latics fans, but we don't really shout it out off the rooftops when we win 3 in a bounce.
We are that way. I mean, I always look back at like when Abdel was here. It was still in us, weren't it? Yeah. And now the good times for me, they're certainly back here now.
Yeah. Someone said on the phone that we're on our way to big things. Do you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And even with Mellon, what he said this week, he said he wants playoffs, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. So, can't ask for more than that, can you?
No.
Players coming back from fitness, Kai Payne maybe starting today. We've got all these people coming into the squad who've been injured, and we're going to get stronger, aren't we?
Of course. And I'm just thinking, obviously, there's going to be some upset players, isn't there?
Yeah.
Good
man manager though, isn't he? Look how he managed Norwood last season. How he got the best out of him.
Oh yeah. I mean, they go back to the Tranmere years, don't they? So them two clicked. Here now, like I said, he's got getting the best out of players. And I think a little positive for me was I was gutted to lose Raglan, but I think Daniels is a little bit more of an improvement.
Yeah.
On Raglan. I may be wrong, but that's my opinion.
Well, we'll see today. What score's it going to be?
I'm going to go for a 3-1.
Win, loss?
Oh, for a win, sorry. Yeah, that one out, won it. Yeah, that one out, won it. Yeah.
3-1. Thanks very much, mate.
Nice. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Cheers, Dave.
Hello and welcome to the Boundary Park Alert System with me, Matt Dean, back from his romantic break last week is Andy Halliwell. He's got a nice big smile on his face. He obviously had a lovely relaxing time. How are you? All right?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, it was nice to be away from the kids for a night. Yeah, it was lovely. Down in Tunbridge Wells, very lovely part of Tunbridge Wells. If you've ever been, a place called the Pan Tiles. It's got some beautiful restaurants and lovely bars on it, and yeah, it was great.
Oh, lovely. Sounds lovely, mate. I'm glad you had a nice time.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, Latics were doing great without you, picking up 3 points. Unfortunately, you're back, and it's only 1 this time. But never mind, we won't hold you responsible. There are plenty of people that were on the pitch that we can hold accountable for that yesterday, so we'll come on to that shortly. But first, we've got a fan guest who has a self-described long-time listener, first-time caller. So let's do the questions.
Yeah, it is a a debutant on the podcast. So let's go through the ritual questions. When was your first game, Fangast?
My first game was I had my nappy changed at Port Vale away in 1995. I was led to believe by my father yesterday when I checked this, and I'm led to believe worse than that at the pub in Port Vale away. I kicked a wriggling little 1-year-old. I kicked a pint over. So that was my first Latics debut game was in 1994, I think it was.
So that was the year he came down out of the Premier League, and they just come up out of the third tier, and I went to that game and I was expecting us to win, and we got absolutely turned over 3-1. It was thoroughly depressing. I hate Port Vale. We never do well.
We never do ever.
Yeah. Who was your first favourite player that you can remember then?
First player I can remember was Lee Duxbury, sort of midfield, 100%. I loved Duxbury. I remember there was a year, sort of when Andy Ritchie was the manager, where Duxbury he scored sort of loads of goals from midfield that year for us in League One. So he's my first favourite player. Shortly afterwards, became a John Sheridan fanatic, but he was my favourite first player.
Yeah, what two great players. I love Dux as well. Yeah, good player. What is your favourite ever away game?
Favorite away game was the Notts Forest away game where Jose Baxter scored the free kick, the famous one when we were kind of down and out and struggling in League One, and we were rubbish in the first half when Alex McLeish had just taken over at Forest, and the second half performance of Simpson and Baxter and Smith and all, it just came from nowhere, didn't it? And it was just absolutely brilliant, the second half of that game. So I'd never done before. Got the Oldham Crom coach, which for those back in the few years ago, and we got the coach from Oldham to Nottingham. Played really well. Came back, had a curry in Leeds afterwards, and I thought it was a really good day. So I remember it really clearly. So it's my favourite Oldham away day.
Yeah, that comes up a couple of times, doesn't it? If you're fans of a certain generation who weren't around for the games before, that was one of the bigger ones. And then give us a little known fact about yourself.
Yeah, little known fact about myself is above my toilet, I have a signed letter from Hillary Clinton. So when I'm having a pee, I have a little signed letter from Hillary Clinton.
The obvious question is why?
Why? Yeah. So my dad is not Detroit Latics on Twitter, but he's a Latics fan who lives in Detroit. And obviously she was campaigning in Michigan. And then she signed a little note to say thank you for coming out. So we went to watch her rally and everything, and there was a thing for some British people afterwards. So she signed a little thing which I just put in a tiny frame, and it's been above my loo ever since.
Lovely.
Well, there you go. So of course, unless you're privileged enough to have had a piss in your bathroom, you wouldn't know that, would you? So and if you're having a sit down experience, you might miss it. So it's good to know.
Facing the other way.
So there you go. Fantastic.
So tell everyone who you are. Who are you?
So I'm Ross Haynes, born and raised in Oldham, been an Oldham fan all my life, since Port Vale, that very first game. Now live just pretty much a stone's throw, so a couple of kilometres from Fulham away, for those who were there. And so worked there in my mid-30s, live in London, currently in Liverpool for work, so in a hotel room doing this. And like I say, as described, Matt, first time call, a long time listener.
Yeah, I'm able to watch what seems to be something like I don't know, like Sunday Kitchen type thing over your shoulder on your hotel.
Oh yes,
I'm not sure what it is exactly, but I'm always distracted by a telly that's on. Do you know, you're in the pub and there's a telly that's on, I can't just turn it off because otherwise I'm just like.
Do you want me to turn it off?
No, you're all right. Yeah. What is it? Oh, Sunday brunch. Yeah, it's
Sunday brunch. On the
screen there. Yeah. Sunday brunch. Yeah. So there we go. Anyway, so it's Sunday lunchtime. That's it. 12:30 kickoff today, Andy. Welcome to the podcast, Ross.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yesterday, Barnet. Just got a rare look at your Barnet, actually, Andy, because you didn't have your cap on. You've usually got a cap on, haven't you? But you just before we recorded.
On a weekend, I'm just not into doing my hair, mate. I can't be bothered with the hassle, So just stick a cap on.
Well, you don't need to. You're at home anyway, aren't you? You don't need to do your hair. Housewives of Chiswick, Andy Halliwell. Full glam, full makeup, full hair. Yeah,
mate, you got to look after yourself. We're not getting any younger, are we?
No, that's very true. So that's the Barnet pun out of the way. So yesterday, who watched the game? Put your hands up if you watched the game. Oh, it's a full house. Brilliant. Andy, you watched it from afar, from Chiswick, I presume. And Ross, you were up this neck of the woods, so you were at Boundary Park.
I was at Boundary Park yesterday, yeah. Yeah, I was, yeah.
Let's get your take on it then, mate. How did you think it went?
Well, I think we've got to start with the most obvious place, which was in all my years of going to Boundary Park, one of the most remarkable refereeing performances we've seen there. I mean, I got the train up from London yesterday, so sort of 6 o'clock, all excited. We were kind of talking about Will Sutton being the new Cafu and all the rest of it, and then quite quickly by sort of 10 past, 20 past 3, just that sort of absolute fury of just the complete randomness of a referee, Mr. Stockbridge, who I can't suspect will be welcomed back to Boundary Park anytime soon, was just the most bizarre 25 minutes of refereeing you can possibly see. I mean, right from the first minute, booking Robson through to, a penalty that was just kind of no one in the ground, watching in the ground, had a clue what was going on, literally had a clue what was going on. And then for sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes, just allowed the game to descend into utter farce whilst he basically, every single set piece became about him. At one point, I remember telling Tom Peck not to take the set piece till the referee had ran away sort of 15 yards. It just became this absolute nonsense for 20, 25 minutes in that first half, which actually, Barnet, who took that for what it was and went full shithousery, just sort of sat down on the floor, in particular Canu and the goalkeeper and others, just endlessly lying down. So really kind of, other people, I suppose, will come on to penalties and stuff, but, the first 30 minutes, I was then sat there thinking, are we actually going to play? Is the game going to start at any point? Can we have some football, please? Because the game had become a sort of Mr. Stockbridge kind of showcase of nonsense. And it was a real shame, particularly, I think, when you had 7,000 Latics fans in BP, really good energy around the place and everyone very excited, just for it to become essentially sort of how not to referee a League Two game showcase, basically.
Well, I thought when he gave that penalty, which I've watched this morning, and Fondop has his arm in the air. And I don't know why he is attempting to be Superman at a corner. He's like launched himself with his arm in the air. I don't think it hits his hand, to be honest with you. The ball doesn't change direction.
I think it brushes his fingers. So I watched it live, and you could kind of see the ball slow down a little bit. So it just brushes the tips of his fingers. And there were about 3 Barnet players all around him that all went up. I expected a expected when it looks like
in real time from the Rochdale Road end, it just couldn't see anything. It's just the usual melee of pulling and tugging and all the rest of it at a corner. But when that went in. When that penalty was awarded and Shelton step up the pantomime villain, the only other person that's less welcome back to Boundary Park than Mr. Stockbridge, stuck it away. I thought, this is going to get really tasty. This could be good, because I fancied, I think we'll get one eventually, and I wasn't worried at going down within 5 minutes. But like you said, it just kind of descended into a really kind of stop-started, difficult kind of game of football. But Barnet looked way better than us when they had the ball. We reverted to a bit of last season. I thought we just kept giving it away. We kept giving them the ball back. It wouldn't stick, and it was really frustrating.
At half time, they put the stats up on the screen, and we had a pass completion rate of 55% at half time. They were near 70 or around 70. So we were passing a ball to another blue shirt just slightly better than a toss of a coin. It was absolutely rubbish, wasn't it? It was absolutely rubbish. Now I don't know what you put that down to. Was it the way we set up, tactics? Was it attitude? Was it what? I mean, Barnet they're quite a physical side, and they put it about. But Dean Brennan seemed to probably give him an instruction to just get stuck in. There were lots of people flying in. Some decisions that probably should have got bookings that didn't, and vice versa. Like Ross says, it was a strange performance from the ref in the first half.
But counter to that, they were going down like a sack of shit every opportunity, weren't they?
Absolutely, they were. Yeah, and it was proper shithousery from them. But we just couldn't get into the game, could we? We couldn't get any foothold at all. It was nothing was sticking. I mean, Fondop. Why was he leaping with his arm all the way above him, fully extended. It's just a ridiculous thing to do. You're not going to get it, so there's no point in doing that. No. It was just a really, really poor display. But then the second half was completely different, wasn't it?
Well, we lost the first half in the midfield. I think the midfield was poor in the first half. It didn't take control of the game. They didn't put the foot on the ball at all. They were chasing them around, and we didn't have any width, and that was the problem. When Barnet got the ball in the first half, they were getting it. They had options when they got the ball. First of all, they were giving it quickly, and they were knocking it out wide, and they were spreading Latics, and we weren't doing it. And they were getting it to Kanu and Sutton, and our defenders were dropping off. We weren't high enough up the pitch, and giving him a chance to run onto us, and we just played into their hands in the first half. And I think you've got to give Mellon credit for making the change at half time, bringing Caprice on, taking Sutton off. That gave them something to worry about on the opposite, exact opposite in their half, and it definitely worked. So if Caprice is fit now, he probably should start in that position. I'm not saying that Will Sutton's done much wrong. Yesterday he was getting stuck in and making tackles and doing all the usual stuff, but I think we needed more width. Unless you play Caprice out on the right hand side of midfield, which you could do, I'm still not sure about having Pett out there. I think Pett. I know you want Pett, Collins, or Woods potentially in the same side, but for me, Woods had a shocker yesterday. He got brought off. I think there's a lot of people eulogise about Woods, and I think on his day, I think he's very, very good. But I think he's capable of some real stinkers. He's had some games. He stayed on in some games when I've thought really he should have been taken off. And I was glad to see him taken off yesterday because I was getting a bit worried that he wasn't for taking off either of Conlon, Pett, or Woods.
Well, I think he was partly taken off because he was on a yellow and he'd just flown into a tackle, and the next trip he made, he was going to get a red. I think it was more to do with that probably, because I agree with you, he didn't have a good game. But I don't know whether should those three start or should it be two of those three.
Well, just to add to what you both said there, I think watching it in the men's stand where I was and sort of above the dugouts, you can see, for example, that their midfield and our defence was about 7-8 yards deeper than, for example, Cambridge when I was on halfway. We were just deeper. And then the game where, the ball was just completely out of place so much in that first half, to get up the pitch or get on the break with Woods, Pett and Conlon, there's no real natural person who would, and Sutton as one of the fullbacks, you don't have that Caprice or that Kai-Payne kind of natural athleticism that goes for that break, or maybe that skips a tackle and then you're 20 yards up the pitch. And I think we really suffered from that in the first half because, for example, they had corners and were taking loads of times over them. There was Mark Shelton, who kind of won the Michael Ricketts Award for sort of returning shithousery, taking forever after the goal.
Why did he get subbed? I've still not worked that out because the commentators didn't say.
He was injured.
Was he?
He did that. I like to think behind the dugout, and
I like to think he injured himself in his celebration at the Rochdale Road, and that's what I'm hoping. Like when he was giving it all that, and he strained himself. Yeah. So that's what I'm sticking to. That's what he was giving it the big one, and he injured himself in the process. So bye. So that gave us all something to cheer about.
But to add to what you were saying there, Andy, I think, when I was watching, there was one point about 28 minutes in, they had a corner, they had two back-to-back corners. It must have been 4 minutes. And then you had the Shelton sub, and then you had the goals. So I think one of the reasons that we struggled in that first half is, well, three reasons I sort of put it down to. One, we were just too deep. And Mellon, I think, said in his interview after, I told them to push up at half-time. Two, there was a bit of lack of pace, which he changed pretty quickly after the break. And third was that we all kind of allowed them to run the game a little bit. They did a job on us in the first half, to sort of quote Chris Wilder, and do a job on people. They kind of did that kind of endless kind of, your ball was out of play, keeper was down. And so therefore our natural flow of Pett, Woods, Conlon, Mellon, all the sort of natural footballers just weren't in the game because the ball was predominantly, frozen or stood still. So combined, all those factors made it impossible to play the football that we played. And I think, Matt, you called it there. My view was that he had to change it quite quickly in and around half time. And I think Mellon gets credit for that because it was then a game to get your quicker players on the pitch. And I think that worked pretty well for us in the second half. And we should have won the game. I'm sure we'll come on to that. But,
yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, talking about pace and Drummond coming on the pitch and Caprice being on the pitch and just being able to get up the pitch a lot quicker. Some really smart play Conlon involved, I think, both times, just flicking the ball on. Kane Drummond. Absolutely brilliant getting away from the defender. Like he, again, when he came on, his pace is a real handful for teams. He works really hard. He makes some really good contributions. He gets himself into a fantastic position. You're thinking, right, Kane, you don't have to finish this one. Just fucking pass it to Tom Pett. Give it to Tom Pett. Just give it to him and he'll tap it in. You don't have to score this one. This is your get out of jail card. You can just pass it. Dozy fucker just runs straight into the fucking goalkeeper, doesn't he? Couldn't believe it. And I'm really not hating on Kane Drummond. I'm just reliving the frustration of yesterday in my mind as I'm talking. Like, it's such a shame. And I do not want to get on the lad's back. I think I think he comes on and he makes really valuable contributions. But in a game like that has to come. The contribution there has to be an assist or a finish. It has to be a goal. You're not going to get better chances than that. You can lay the ball off. The defenders are behind him. He just has to play the ball into the space. Pett runs onto it and puts it in the goal. It was such a simple opportunity, and it's incredibly frustrating. But that was the difference. That was the game one if that goes in.
Paddy Harwood has a phrase for these types of players. He calls them speedboat no driver. Because they just fly around, don't they? It's like Devon Green, yeah? Remember him?
Yes,
same sort of player, just like full of pace, cannot make a decision. The decision making is the thing that lets them down. Is they've got their raw attributes, and what you're trying to do is coach them. Presumably, you can coach them to be better with a football and be better with their positioning and runs and what have you. But you cannot help them make decisions, can you?
Yeah.
Like, the decision you need to make now, Kane, is that lad next to you needs to receive the football just now. Like in that window, he goes completely blank. It's a bit like it's a bit like Mike. I'd say Mike Fondop used to be. Let's be fair. Mike's been better in the last sort of 12 months, but I think often you'd see Mike Fondop make a snap decision without really having to think about it and pull off a worldie. But as soon as he's got time to think, he would just like his brain would overthink it and he would just freeze. Well, Kane Drummond's got a bit of the same issue, hasn't he? I don't know really what you do with it.
I don't know. What it reminded me of then when you said about the speedboat with no driver is like, remember when as a kid you used to go roller skating, but like you didn't really know how to do it. You didn't know how to stop. So you just go smash into the barrier like until you stopped. It was a bit like that with Drummond yesterday. He just
kept running.
He went until there was an obstacle in his way which would make him stop, and that was the goalkeeper, unfortunately. He just didn't make a decision, and it was
I'm going to make the case for Kane Drummond here, which I think will come back to bite me, but here it is, which is, and I absolutely agree. I know you've had a few of these over the years, the Wes Wilkinsons and the John Polians. There's been a few of these type of players who just sort of ran, haven't they, over the years. But if you look at when Mellon signed or kept a young player, or a player that he's extended at Latics, and Big Mike is one of those, but certainly the obvious examples to me are Hudson and Will Sutton, obviously, are obvious examples, and perhaps you could add Conlon to this, is players where you can see a specific bit of their game that needs to improve and has got better. So Hudson was always quite a good shot stopper. I think that was kind of obvious from the outset, but his distribution was absolutely rubbish. His distribution now is actually, I thought particularly yesterday, was very good during the game. Drummond naturally is skillful pace. It's all there. There is one element for which he needs to improve, and and as Mellon said in his interview yesterday, the hardest bit of the game is putting the ball in the net. But he does need to do that, and did need to do that in his last loan spell. And so, I think there is a case for Kane Drummond, which is that Mellon. Mellon, everyone knows that Kane Drummond. But I suspect Mellon knew that he had a very raw player on his hands last year. Quite liked it, was quite up for the challenge. By all accounts, Kane Drummond's had a bit of fun in his younger years. So perhaps he could be yet a player for which we end up with a sort of Mellon redemption arc yet in Kane Drummond, and the second half of the season could yet become a really important player for us. I say that in optimism because there is no evidence that will happen, but I say that in optimism.
I'm backing him. I'm not getting on his back. Because I don't see the point in it. Like I think, like I say, yesterday, you look at that incident in isolation and you're pulling your hair out because it was such a good opportunity. And that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. Mellon would have been cursing him to death on the touchline, I'm sure, when he went through and he didn't. Pett would have been, his teammates would have been. But at the end of the day, that's not the be all and end all. You look at everything else, like how he trains, how he plays, his attitude, etc., etc. And I think there is a player in him, and we just need to be patient. We need to back him. He's one of our own. He's one of our players. Let's get behind the lad. Mickey Mellon Jr. also had 2 chances one-on-one with the keeper. He didn't put it in.
Right. Exactly. And so, they were just as good one-on-one chances. So we have to talk about that as well, because of course, as he was, there were a couple of things with Mellon. Like he's there was a Hannon header that went over the bar, which was was kind of a very quick spin cross from Mellon. Cross, yeah. Brilliant. There's glimpses of Mellon where you see that he is definitely, he's got class. So he just quickly looked over his shoulder, could see a blue shirt running, clipped across, perfect trajectory, perfect pace on it. Hadn't put his header over. And there are moments like that where you watch Mellon and you think, yeah, there's a player there. But when he's going through one-on-one and you see it's Mellon, I'm seeing, yes, it's Mellon.
Yeah.
When it's Drummond, you're like, he'll fuck this up. When it's Mellon, like, yes, it's Mellon one-on-one. He's going to put this away. When he had the second one, I was thinking he's not going to miss this because he missed the last one. Yeah. Right, James Norwood would have buried one of them.
He would, yeah.
That's the difference, isn't it?
But,
James Norwood would have buried one of them.
I would make the point that James Norwood would have been caught by the defenders halfway up the pitch. I'm
not saying
his little legs would have got trapped.
I'm not saying I want James Norwood.
You just can't go one fucking episode without saying it. That's all, Andy. That's what it is. At what point do we cut this off? Christmas? What is it? Next season? Like, when is it?
All right. Yeah. Look, James Norwood, someone of that ilk and that class would finish.
I'll give you a bit of credit for the second one. I think he was a bit affected by the bash on the head that he had. He had the bandage around his head, and he did go off. He did seem a little bit. He didn't seem quite as, maybe he should have gone off a bit sooner, actually, after that knock on the head. But he's got to take his chances. That's what he's paid for. He took the penalty tucked it away very, very coolly. Good pen. Daniels won the penalty again. Second penalty in 2 games, won by Donovan Daniels. It was a foul when you look back at it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He goes over the defender, but there's a whole melee there. I thought they were both.
I didn't think at the time that there was. I couldn't see what was up. When I watched it back, I could see why he's giving it, whether or not it was a foul.
I'm not even sure he was getting to the ball either. The ball, it was a soft penalty, but I think the referee was evening it up.
Yeah. But thank goodness, because clearly we weren't going to score otherwise yesterday, were we? It was just one of those days.
No, and I particularly judged on chances. On Donovan Daniels charging up the full length of the pitch on 92 minutes, I thought was absolutely hilarious. And then literally then lying down and being unable to get back on the night. Literally, he sort of seemed to go back in 3 stages, returning back. But I thought I really enjoyed that as a sort of last chance when he just sort of charged the full length of the pitch, and you could see him thinking, "Christ, what do I do now? I've got here," type thing. But that I thought was really good. But it was then bizarre for the ref, who I then thought had an excellent second half, and the penalty just evened it up, I suppose, probably. But then I thought he was quite good going the second half. He was rushing the game on. He was kind of trying to get things moving. With the exception of the fact that it's now a sort of League 2 policy that you can just assault Mike Fondop and nobody does anything. But, with the exception of that, I actually thought the ref actually had a decent second half after a disgraceful first half. But it then meant that the second half was actually quite a good game, I thought. Both teams going for it a bit, loads of subs, both teams changed shape twice during that second half. I thought it really made the second half a really good game with quite a few chances. They had one cleared off the line, didn't they, from Conlon at the end. I thought it was a really good second half then.
It was a good combination. It looked like a good save from Hudson, and then Conlon just did the rest just to keep it out. So I'm coming away again. We'll hear from Mickey Mellon in a second. But I've come away again. The first half was incredibly frustrating. It wasn't a spectacle, but the second half was entertaining enough. Like the players were bombing towards the Rochdale Road end, were willing the ball in. There was plenty of noise in the stadium again. It was again an enjoyable experience at Boundary Park, and I've come away going, okay, we're frustrated we didn't win the game, but we didn't lose the game. Barnet are a decent side, you can't argue with that, and I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to Notts County on Saturday. It's just, I'll take that all day. What, unbeaten in? Is that what was the result prior to the first of our?
We lost to Gillingham, didn't we? Lost to Gillingham. There was Sam Vokes,
and then won Cambridge. So we're 4 games without undefeated. We're 3 out of 4. wins. Like, that's a good little run, that. So we're still on it. We're still unbeaten. And we've not conceded in open play for 4 games. So there's a lot of positives to take from it. So, right, well, Sexy Dave Bradley had a chat with Mickey Mellon. So we'll have a listen to that in a sec. It's time to hear from our partner for this episode, Build Budget Expert. If you're planning building work, you may be worried about what to do next, how to choose the right architect or builder, and have concerns about going over your budget, a bit like Mickey Mellon. Build Budget Expert offers an affordable, personalised service that can guide and support you all the way from first idea to completion, helping you stay organised and prepared at every stage, save money, and importantly, reduce stress. And for all Latics fans, there's a Build Budget Expert promotion, 10% off. Just email hello@buildbudgetexpert.com and quote, "We're on our way. That's buildbudgetexpert.com.
We're the fire experts, fire safety experts at Pendle New Tech. We train fire marshals, fire safety marshals at Pendle New Tech. Pendle New Tech have fire experts across the UK covering all your local and national needs. With over 100 years experience in the fire safety industry, you know that you can trust Pendle New Tech. Right, enough of that now.
Bounce back alert system. Mickey, do you teach Michael how to take penalties?
His mum does. Strictly done to his mother.
As a head coach, you've got, you want him to score.
Well, do you know what, right? I'm in this management business and I understand mentalities and what good players are able to do. And when you're taking a penalty for your dad's team at 1-0, that takes a certain type of player. And he deserves a lot of credit for that, to go and step up and go and slot that, and in that moment, knowing how important that is to everybody. So that tells you a lot about him. Yeah. That tells you a lot about him. He's getting fitter. You could see that. He probably ran himself into the deck at the end. We've got to protect him a little bit because he hasn't had any pre-season, but as you can see, he's getting fitter and he's getting deeper into the games and he's making more impact. And he'll be disappointed he hasn't slotted another 2. But that's the standards that he'll set for himself. But I'm delighted that he's here at Oldham and he's a part of what we're doing.
Special mention to Jake Caprice, Kane Drummond and Kai Payne. They brought a lot of energy when they came on, didn't they?
Yeah, well, you're looking at the situation and you're going, right, what do I need it right back now? I make a different type of player. And then you look at the wide areas and then you think, right, I need a wee bit of something there. Who have I got that can do that? It's a bit like golf. It feels football golf. You get the right club out and you play the right shot. And then you thought you need a wee bit of legs in that midfield. Ryan was on a booking, to be fair, and with that referee's performance, I just did not know what he was going to do next, so I just didn't want to take the chance. I took a chance with Robbo, and we managed to get away with that one. But no, I was pleased we all ran, and I'm pleased that we're disappointed.
I think, the 3 1-on-1s, I bet you were saying like at the Ryder Cup, get in the hole, get in the goal, because it was like, it was unfortunate.
With the 1-0, we lobbed the goalie and then the one the goalie's made a great save. I mean, that's a great save, all credit to him. We're goalies made great saves at times. That's a fantastic save from Quigley to turn that around the post for a corner. So, no, we're pleased with how we reacted, but disappointed we haven't won.
Mickey, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
The highlights that I saw on YouTube this morning were very limited, actually. They didn't have the Quigley opportunity in there. Great bit of skill from Quigley that he
did really well,
on
didn't
his
he?
chest and
Really
smashed it.
well.
I thought it was going in. It was a brilliant save. It really was. So yeah, it's a shame. We did probably had a few more chances than I can recall, but yeah, Sexy Dave Bradley there with the questions. Apparently the BBC have nicked it, a bit of content there on there. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but we nick it off them as well.
We nick some off them, so we'll happily agree that. Did you know that the Barnet's goalkeeper Kieran Slicker, he's born in Oldham?
Yeah, it's today.
Yeah. That's maybe he had a good game because he was because of that. I don't know, but he did pull off some good saves. It's pretty fair. All right, I've got we're gonna continue our little new feature about let's chat about stat. I've got a stat here which someone has sent to me. We did actually talk about this a couple of weeks ago, but I've got the numbers. Mickey Mellon, since he joined the club in October 23. league games, has managed 43 home games and 43 away games. Right?
All right. Yep.
What's his win percentage at home and away?
His win percentage away is going to be higher than his win percentage at home. I know that. I'm not very good with this kind of stuff. I don't really follow it, so I don't know what. Let's just say it's going to be.
Oh, let me ask you a number. How many games?
We won like 1 in 3 away from home and 1 in 4 or something like that at home.
I was going to guess 27% at home and 40% away from home, somewhere in that region.
Yeah, you're not a million miles off. So he's out of the 43 home games, he's won 15, drawn 14, and lost 14. So he's pretty much 1 in 3, right? At home. So you're going to turn up. You're going to get an equal number of results basically over that period of time.
Yeah.
His away record is 118, so 41% win record away. 118, drawn 18, lost only 7 over a season and a half away from home in the league. Now, the question that raises is the way that we set up suited to an away team more than a home side? Is the tactic? You can argue in his first season it was 1-3, drew 6, lost 6 at home, but he had a whole host of players that he'd inherited and didn't want, and we struggled. But last season we won 11, drew 6 and lost 6, and this season we've won 1 out of 5. So even with his players and that he's bringing in, it is the way that we set up more suited to an away team.
I think yesterday actually sums it up really well. I think yesterday he set the team up like he would away from home, and you probably pick up, you go to Barnet, you pick up a point, and the game's probably going to be fairly similar. Let's say Barnet are probably going to be on the front foot early on in the game, and then you maybe bring a bit of pace on second half, cause them a few more problems and whatever. I think should he set the team up like he started, like it finished in the second half? Should he start like that at home? You know what I mean? Is he a bit too conservative at home? Shouldn't he have a different style of play for away? He knows what he's doing away from home. He knows the team know what they're doing, and he can go in there, he can get good results away from home. But at home, I think we have to start on the front foot. It's happened in virtually every single game where it's taken a while for us to get into the game, and it's taken changes for us to get into the game and to sort of really put them under pressure. It's hard enough to score in 90 minutes. It's hard enough to score enough goals to win the game in 90 minutes, never mind leaving it for 45 or the last 30. So I think, yeah, we know what we're doing away from home. I think he needs to be a little bit more progressive at home in try to get early goals and take the lead. Personally,
I would agree with that in a sort of broad sense. I think if I look at the teams, and Mellon's probably had built about 4 teams now at Oldham, particularly as you say, Andy, that first one, the Unsworth inherited team that was just a lot of rubbish, really. Is that subsequently the only team that I think Mellon's built that would set us up to dominate games was that first half of last season team, which is the sort of Stones, Norwood, Conlon, Klukas kind of 10-15 Lundstrom, that sort of 10-15 games where they played together. That was the only time I thought, right, it's almost like going to run the game, and then if we lose, it's a bit of lucky. Now and then obviously second half of last year, with the exception of the last sort of 5 weeks of it, it was very much about you either rebuilding or building a team throughout most of those times he's been here. And that has led to us not really dominating. You can't think of that many times we've absolutely dominated. You got 70% possession. We've absolutely. I mean, Cheltenham is the only. Is a really recent one, but as you said on the pod last week, they were as bad as a team as you'll see.
They got beat 7-1 yesterday.
Yeah, they were as bad as a team as you'll see. I mean, I'm absolutely sure I could have played centre half for Oldham that way. Absolutely certain of it. But they were as bad a team as you'll see. But I just think in terms of us building a team that's really going to dominate, and even now I think we're still putting some of the building blocks in place. I'm not. I think that would explain a little bit the stats that you've put out there, because I just don't see us, going into a game like that.
But we're talking over. He's managed 86 games now, so that's a very significant period of time. You're well on the way to 2 full seasons, aren't you, of games, really, pretty much. Yeah. And he's lost 2/3 of all the games he's lost have been at Boundary Park in the league.
I think looking at this
loss.
season, Andy, is the best and most telling thing. Like, we've had to grow into the season a bit, but 1 in 5 at home. When you consider
we haven't lost away yet.
We've been very good away.
Yeah, and you consider the size of the crowd, the pitch. It's all there, the facilities and everything. It's all set up at Latics now. They've got all the families there and they're all well looked after and all that kind of stuff. It's they should be coming here, and we need to start winning more games at Boundary Park. There's no question about it. I'm not people aren't on his back, because we know that like things are generally fairly good, but moving in the right direction and very happy. But it makes it would be very frustrating for this season to not reach its potential because of the home results and Boundary Park being the opposite of what everybody wants it to be, the old fortress and all that kind of thing. So I think that I just think what do you think, Andy? I think he needs to start the game with a bit more pace and on the front foot, rather than adjusting and trying to do that later in the game.
I think probably you've got the same sort of subject matter as you really is. You've got to take the handbrake off. So is playing Woods, Conlon and Pett the right thing at home? Do you just take one of those out and put a more offensive player in, whether that's a wide player, and just have a go a bit more, possibly is the way to look at it. Whereas away from home, we can sort of dig in and sit deeper and then try and hit on the break. You have to unlock teams at home, don't you? Because they're more likely to sit in, and we're often finding ourselves a goal down.
Unless you invite them onto you, Andy, like we did yesterday.
Yeah. So I think, but I just think that there's enough numbers there. I thought it was an interesting stat because he's had enough time to work that out, and I think that possibly he's got to think about. Because, like you said, we're getting into games when he's making changes, which begs the question: has he picked the right team? Should he be picking a different starting 11 at home than away in a different formation?
Yeah, I mean, it's all very well sort of like looking at the game and then making changes and saying, oh well, you kind of you sussed it out and you made the changes in play, but really getting it right at the beginning would be more advantageous, I guess. I think at home fans are never going to be disappointed if you're on the front foot from the start. So, and the crowd has been great. The crowd's been behind the team. The crowd wasn't, it got a good round. They got a good round of applause off the pitch yesterday at the end of full-time whistle. The crowd are with them, but we want to see wins at Boundary Park.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think the way I would go, that shape that we've played the last few weeks, which obviously don't forget has been unbeaten in 4 games, was more of a sort of 4-3-3 and then sometimes a 4-4-2. It was kind of interchangeable a little bit, with Fondop more on the right of the attack. I suspect at some point that will go to a proper 4-4-2, or Kai Payne will play if they stay with the 4-3-3. I think that change that you said that you say there, Matt, to make us a little bit more kind of aggressive and attacking and mobile, a version of it will come in the next few weeks, I think, because as you say, I think that 4-3-3 has kind of been born out of who was fit, who was in form, how can we get some results at a time when we had sort of 14, 15 players available. Now with a basically full squad, notably the lads from Blackburn who've come on loan were in the director's box yesterday. Joe Garner these lads are all there. Regan Ogle seemingly fit again. So I think the whole team will be born out of a little bit of a change of shape, and I think we'll get more aggressive.
I think someone saw Theo Vassell sat at the game yesterday as well. I'm not sure. I think he might still be
in
attached.
front of me. Yeah, he was in front of me. Yeah.
Don't know whether we're looking
Interestingly,
at him
I have to say I particularly enjoyed Dan Gardner sitting with the injured players in the director's box last year, which traditionally about this time of the year is when Dan Gardner's been sat in the director's box with injured players, just normally him being one. So I don't know if just through muscle memory he went back and sat with the injured players in the director's box. So that is traditionally where he normally is at this time of year.
Well, we've got a tough run of games coming up, Andy. Thankfully we're away next week, so that might mean we may win.
Did you see that tweet from Notts County fan who said the first 5 league games that Notts County have had, they played something like Crawley and Fleetwood and other sort of relatively small clubs, but they've had a total of just under 1,400 away fans over 5 games turn up 2,100 of us going next week. I'm going, so I'll see you up there. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's a brilliant away support.
And the tweet was basically, thank God Oldham are back in the Football League, proper club, bringing proper fan base with them. And look, we could have taken more, couldn't we? We've sold out.
Oh, almost certainly, yeah. The other thing from Notts this week, Notts got some new owners when they dropped into non-league, didn't they? That have they've got some sort of stats model and what have you behind them.
They have like a selection panel, don't they? A bit like cricket. I think.
Yeah. Well, they this just shows you how difficult it is. We obviously know that the Rothwells have put in, millions of pounds into Latics, and if we could look at the balance sheet when the next set of accounts come out. I'm imagining it will be 10 million quid plus that in effect we would owe them. Well, the owners of Notts County made a statement to say that £10.75 million worth of, in effect, loans from them have been wiped clean. So you're like, wow, that's what it takes, doesn't it? I guess that's good for them. I think probably sort of I think the Notts won yesterday. No, did they win? No, they got beat at Crewe, didn't they? Yeah, they got beat at Crewe in the other morning game. You imagine that's a good news story, and for them, and they. I suspect next week will be a tough game at Meadow Lane, but I'm looking forward to it with that away following. It's going to be good, isn't it?
Yeah, and as it stands, they sit just one place. Well, we're on the same amount of points. We're on 14 points. It goes from Notts County in 12th down to Harrogate in 16th, all on 14. So it's very close. I mean, points don't really make too much difference, but you've literally got to slog it out game by game, and it'd be nice to go down there and avenge the 4-1 defeat from a couple of seasons ago on Boxing Day when we went down there. So looking forward to that. And then we've got Barrow at home on the 11th. So we really need to get back to winning ways at Boundary Park against Barrow. And then we've got Salford away on the 18th. Yeah. Salford are flying. They're up there. So, it really is. Every game is a tough game, innit, in this division. Like it's going to be a tough season. It's going to be, but like you were saying there, Ross, there's players to come back. We've got a good squad.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident.
It's all to play for, isn't it, those next few weeks? Because then, they will be big, and then we'll sort of, as the table will begin to divide up a little bit into subsections as it does, and we'll go into Christmas. So I think there's some really exciting games coming up. And as you rightly say, Matt, we're going into them going, yeah, we're up for it. It's not like a few years ago where you go, Christ, do we have to play them? It's like, we're up for this, and these are good games, and these are the Team 2000 to Notts County. That's what you want to be doing. That's what we want to be doing, isn't it? That's what we've waited all these years to do. So I'm excited by the next few weeks, and there's quite a lot of good stuff coming up.
I like is going back to that stat, Andy, and the home and away form thing. It is frustrating. We got two. Now, obviously, we could lose both games, Notts County and Salford, for all we know. But when if you go away and you get really good results at the likes of Notts County and then Salford, and it's sandwiched with a disappointing 0-0 at home to Barrow, something like that. That's where you feel that it's letting it down. So, So I'd rather us probably, pick up, win one of the games at Notts County or Salford and beat Barrow, maybe 6 from the next 9, something like that. Ideally 9 from the next 9, but I'm not. I'm too long in the tooth to expect anything like that.
Those 5 green ticks just don't want to happen for you, do they?
It's just not happening, are they?
Just going to say, the only lad who was more relieved yesterday about us getting in trouble than anybody is that United fan who's not cutting his hair until United have won 5 games in a row. Because imagine if we beat them to that, he would have then looked quite embarrassing.
That's true. Yeah, I think there was a lad on the pitch at half-time doing the crossbar challenge in the United shirt. I think I heard it. Maybe he was on a stag do.
It was his stag, and they dressed up in the United. I saw him then dressed up outside in something else. Yeah, it was his stag do. You have to come on a pitch after time in United.
I did enjoy just booing him and calling him a wanker anyway while he was on the pitch, because that was why he was putting a United shirt, to be given grief by everybody else. So.
On my stag do, I've been going back to over 10 years now, but on my stag do, my best man brought a United shirt and a Rochdale shirt, and I had to wear one on either day.
No.
Horrible, absolutely horrible.
In a couple of years, we'll be playing. We could all three. We might have all 3 of them games in a couple of years. So, Rochdale come up and United come down. We might
all playing in League One together. That'd be amazing.
Should we? Should we put Ross through his paces?
We will.
Can we just talk about Latics Mind? Obviously, you had your You're going to blame me for not colouring in the questions read, aren't you, from the week before?
Well, I'm a visual person, Andy.
Yeah. Well, the other sort of person you are is you could see exactly how many questions were left, and you hadn't pointed out to me that we didn't have enough in the bank, did you?
What, did we have enough for this week?
Yeah. So this morning...
Listen, Andy, Lattice Mind is your responsibility. Not my responsibility. I was just covering for you. You know, on top of like producing the podcast, the phone in, and a fanzine, and all the other things. I ain't got time to worry about Lattice Mind's questions. Come on.
Well, you could have just said to me, "Oh, by the way, there's only a couple of questions left. You want to get in contact with Paul." So, if Paul, if you're listening, mate, I know you listen. I've had to make some up this morning to cover for Matt's brain fart. But if you could give us a few more, that'd be handy.
Controversial, that, Andy. I'm blaming you. But the big question is this going to be an advantage to Ross or a disadvantage to Ross?
Yes.
We don't know how Andy's questions compare to Paul's questions. So we'll soon find out, though. So we wish you the best of luck. But we'll play Lattice Mind after this.
The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendlenutech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information. It's time to hear from our partner for this episode, Build Budget Expert. If you're planning building work, you may be worried about what to do next, how to choose the right architect or builder, and have concerns about going over your budget, a bit like Mickey Mellon. Build Budget Expert offers an affordable, personalised service that can guide and support you all the way from first idea to completion. And for all Lattics fans, there's a Build Budget Expert promotion, 10% off. Just email hello@buildbudgetexpert.com and quote, "We're on our way.
Right then, let's play Lattice Mind. Best of luck, Ross.
Thank you.
Lattice Mind is sponsored by Oldham Athletic Supporters Foundation, investing in the fans, the club and the community. Join today at oasf.co.uk for just £12 a year. OASF, because we're stronger together.
What did a controversial former director say we couldn't afford in the mid-2010s?
A pot to piss in.
No, we couldn't afford promotion.
Yes.
In 2023-24, what colour was Latic's third kit?
White.
No, it was maroon. In what year did Boundary Park briefly get rebranded sportsdirect.com Park?
2010.
Wrong, it was 2014. At which ground have Latic's last four visits resulted in a 5-1 defeat, a 0-0 draw, a 4-1 defeat, and a 5-0 defeat?
The county ground.
No, it's White Hart Lane, Tottenham Hotspur. From which team did Robbie Simpson initially join on loan from in 2011?
Cambridge.
Wrong, it was Huddersfield Town. Which former goalkeeper returned as goalkeeping coach and due to injury ended up playing for the first team again in 2011, some 15 years after his last appearance?
Some 15 years. Andy Gorham.
Wrong, it was Paul Gerrard.
Yeah.
What colour was Latics away kit in 2014-15?
Red.
No, the answer to that was luminous yellow and black. So,
a disaster.
So you got a big fat 0, and you passed on none. So I don't have any to ask Matt.
No.
So James Floyd, who obviously you know very well, being part of Oasis, who was on a couple of weeks ago, who scored 6, he's going to be absolutely cock a hoop, and you're going to get it in the next week.
Oh, it's a disaster. Will I ever show myself in the Oasis WhatsApp group ever again? It's all downhill from here now.
Yeah.
They were hard, I have to say.
Did you know any of them, Matt?
Yeah, I got. Obviously, I got the Barry Owen question. What are we going to do with the Barry Owen question? That's a whole other topic. I actually got White Hart Lane and Huddersfield Town, the Simpson and Spurs one. Yeah,
very good.
I think I would have got 3 then. I think
the away kits I would have always struggled. But the Robbie Simpson one, as soon as you said it, I knew. My 2 answers in my head were either he went via Cambridge, Jimmy. We sold him on to Cambridge, or he came from Cambridge. I just couldn't remember which order it was.
Yeah. The date specific ones are hard as well. Like the sportsdirect.com part thing. I was like, I guess 2016. So I was in the kind of round around the ballpark, but a lot happens.
Yeah. The Simon Corney Resurrection kind of finishing 16th, 17th years all sort of merge into one.
Yeah, they do. There's a lot of that. So at least we're not in that stage anymore. Hopefully in future, whether it be Latics Mind or any other Latics related quizzes, we'll have no one's going to forget June the 1st, 2025, are they, for example? Sort of like May 2025 is always going to stick out in the old memory bank. So let's hope for a lot more of that kind of thing in the future. I'm sure we'll have that kind of stuff to enjoy. So thanks for taking part, Ross. That's the main thing. And the Latics Mind is only a small component of the overall contribution that you've made to the podcast today. So thank you for that. Any other business, Andy?
No, I think we're done, aren't we?
Until next week. Concise, yeah. Looking forward to next week. Notts County away, proper ground, good crowd. Yeah, should be good. This is the biggest away game, biggest club we've been to so far since we came back into League
It's not the biggest ground though. MK Dons is.
MK Dons, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But they're not a real club, are they? So it's not quite the same.
No, and big grounds are only really. It's only like when there's people in it that it like actually, is an experience. So yeah, good point. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that next week. Phone-in will be on Thursday as usual in the pre-match build-up to Notts County. The fanzine was handed out yesterday around the ground. Hopefully you pick one up. Still got some left. I'll take some down to Notts County with me next week. Try and get them out to you if not got one. There's also the opportunity to get them online. They're free this month, obviously, unless you buy them online. But as of next month, they're going to be a couple of quid each. So I'll probably just print 100. That'll do. You can't give them away. Never mind sell them. But we'll see how we get on. We'll try and sell. We can't afford to do any more for free because the crowdfunder that we got given we've spent. So we thanks for everyone for that. But it's been good to be able to get it out there, and I'm sure we'll sell a few anyway. But there is also an opportunity for anyone who wants to advertise in the fanzine. You can send me a message if you would like to sponsor an episode or two, or for October, if you'd like to offer a sponsorship for the podcast or the phone-in, you can do. Give us a shout as well. And that's it. I don't think I've got anything else to add, really, apart from I expect this Sunday morning, Kane Drummond and Michael Mellon have been in for finishing practice, particularly one-on-ones. So if you've got any footage from the training ground or you know how they got on, please let us know. And yeah, thanks for your contribution this morning, gents. It's been really nice to talk to you both.
Thank you, mate.
And we'll see you all, or we'll see some of you, 2,000 of you at least, at Notts County on Saturday. Come on, you Blues.
Hey Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage?
Ooh.
And what's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave a
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/We Are Oldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Ooh. Thank you, listeners.